Well, speaking of something that's unbelievable here, folks, if you're having a good time, hit that like and subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. JD Vance blasts Margaret Brennan over claim Afghan refugees let into U.S. are vetted. JD Vance slapped Margaret Brennan so hard during her own show, her head spun in circles. Now, she's not a reporter. She's an activist. That's really what she is. She's an activist journalist. Everybody knows it. She's a fraud. She's part of the fake news. And here's JD Vance. We got a lot of clips coming up, folks, of him slapping her around and just speaking truth.
Talk to us in August. You said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country. It's not good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
We'll be back in 1 minute with more of our...
That's what I'm talking about, JD. Just ringing in the elbows, just fighting her, just shadow palming her. Oh, baby. Don't you, just the smug, right? Oh, well, they were vetted. Oh, well, they were. No, folks, she's a dummy. Trust me, we've covered her endlessly here on the show. She is so ass backwards, she can't tell you the difference between her mouth and her ass. I am serious on all fronts. I am as serious as a heart attack. Her head is so far up her, you know what? It is mind-blowing. Oh, they've been vetted. Yeah, no, they've been vetted. No, we've shown the documents. They have not been vetted. You may be talking about the refugees to fit a narrative that you're trying to push here, but a lot of people haven't been vetted. You want to know what they're called, Margaret? Yeah, you want to know what? No, come in, Margaret. Come in. Listen closely. Put on your ears. Come on. They're called gotaways. We don't know who the hell they are. There's a reason why there's terrorists here, Margaret. There's a reason why there's sleeper cells happening right now. But she doesn't have her head on straight, folks. And this is what it looks like when somebody doesn't have their head on straight. Somebody needs to call it out. And look, if you're somebody that can't sit there and take a guy just telling you the pure truth straight to your face and then take the show for you, but we're going to bring you the truth nonetheless, and somebody got to tell it to you. JD Vance dunks on Margaret Brennan again, but this time over basic understanding how economics works. Because when you're an activist, you disregard what the truth is, and you try to promulgate a bunch of lies, which is also known as the fake news. So here's JD Vance once again letting her have it on how things function, but this says it all right there. What?
Oil and gas production.
Yes, Joe Biden did many terrible things to lead to an increase in prices. I agree, Margaret.
No, but all the things you experience at the grocery store are what people touch and feel. That's what you were talking about, bacon on the campaign trail.
Of course, of course.
Those things. When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes on trucks that are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
And there was record.
By the way, you could read that in any high school textbook starting your freshman year. It's not a novel idea, but for her it is. For her, it is. There's a lot of things that she doesn't know, which is why Democrats put her in this position, mostly the progressive left, because she doesn't know things. She's an activist, and that's all she is. Folks, where was this type of interview for Joe Biden for the last 4 years? Where was any of this? It hasn't even been, as of today, it's been a full week. As of noon today, it will have been a full week that Donald Trump's been in office. Well, when are they going to be able to touch the eggs and see a difference in prices? When are they going to see this or that? Where was any of these questions for Joe Biden the last 4 years? There wasn't, because you have a narrative to push and you did a cover up. This same broad here did a entire cover up Joe Biden's cognitive decline. She did an entire cover-up saying that the border was secure. She didn't want to touch any information about the border. She didn't go out as a journalist and try to find the 340,000 children, all of which Tom Homan in his first week found 70,000 of the 340,000 that are missing that Joe Biden couldn't do in 4 years. She didn't do any of that. Why? Because she's an activist. She's fake news. Face the Nation is fake news, and nobody likes him, and that's why they're crumbling. And that's why JD Vance slapped them around, and it's nice to have a vice president. We couldn't get this from Mike Pence, could we, folks? But we get it from JD, where he's not going to allow this crap to happen. He's going to call out their lies. He's a lot smarter than all of them. They haven't experienced somebody that's smart because they've been dealing with Joe Biden and Barack Obama before that for the last, I don't know, decade or so. So when somebody actually comes in and knows what the hell they're talking about, they don't know what to do. Well, we're talking about bacon. Yeah, you want to know who's talking about the price of hot dogs decreasing during 4th of July when in fact they didn't decrease? How about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? But she doesn't want to talk about that. Something I want to talk about here is JD Vance mocks Margaret Brennan over her argument for what should set U.S. immigration policy. So here he is once again, Margaret, JD, just coming in hot, letting her have it as somebody needs to, because look, I'm telling you, she lives in her own echo chamber. That says everything right there. She's eating a Sour Patch.
Well, this is a country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by...
This is a
unique country. This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
Well, this is a country...
Look at her face here. Yeah. Duh. Somebody screen grabbed all her facial reactions and posted it. And it just showed you really that she isn't about getting the truth out here. So this is all her facial reactions. Does this look like somebody that is not biased? Does this look like somebody that has her head on straight? Folks, a lot of us have dated women like this. This is a progressive woman that's manipulative. She's a liar. She's condescending. She's interruptive. She's not a nice lady whatsoever. And JD handled it very, very nice. And by the way, it has nothing to do with she's a woman. Ladies, I know a lot of you dated guys like this. This is bonkers. Didn't want to talk about the increased gas prices when Joe Biden was in office. Didn't care about the price of everything going up when Joe Biden was in office. Didn't want to deal with anything. But now when Donald Trump's in office for a week, hey, why are prices not down? I'm not exaggerating when I say that Donald Trump had only been president for 2 hours and Democrats are already posting online asking why prices haven't dropped. These are how dumb these people are, folks. It is astonishing. And they walk amongst us. They breathe the same air as us. And then when things start going south because of their policies that they voted in, all of a sudden it's our fault. And then when we try to fix it, it's still our fault that it's not fixed fast enough. I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And then when you try to explain them how basic economics works of like, yeah, you know, if you bring down fuel prices, that's at least going to stagnate the price of eggs or grocery prices somewhat. If you think that grocery prices are going to come down tremendously, they're not. Joe Biden already effed this over forever. That inflation doesn't really change, folks. So what we're looking at is just to stagnate the prices and try to get by with what we got here. That's the goal. If you could bring them down slightly, that's great. But you're going to have to drill, baby, drill. And if you recall, Joe Biden sabotaged the American people on his way out by claiming a lot of land that can't be used for drilling, like the entire ocean.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.